Alright, everybody, welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to yet another episode review, the last episode review for Season 3 of Fear the Walking Dead. This is episode 15 and 16, entitled Things Bad Begun and Sleigh Ride. Alright, so, this was supposed to, no excuses, alright? This was supposed to be done yesterday on Monday, obviously. I always do it on Monday, but I did actually have to go out yesterday. I actually went up with my friend randomly, bought a new car, stuff like that. I know, really adventurous day. And then when I got home, I was planning on doing this, but then I actually had to put together a table. So, you know, it kind of happened. But either way, we're here. We're doing it now. All right. I apologize. It won't, I definitely won't let it happen in The Walking Dead. But, you know, I mean, if something comes up, obviously, you know, something's going to come up, right? All right. So anyway, Season 3, Episode 15, Things Bad Begun, and Episode 16, entitled Sleigh Ride. Now, this episode, I'm just gonna call it an episode. All right. Obviously, it was 2 episodes. It was a 2-hour season finale of Fear the Walking Dead, and of course, spoilers. If you guys haven't seen the episode, definitely go check it out first, and then come back. But with that being said, I'm gonna refer to this as one whole episode. All right. We're not gonna divide the two or anything like that. We're gonna talk about the main key points. Otherwise, I'm gonna be sitting here for about 40 minutes talking about a 2-hour show, and I don't want to do that. I truly don't. You guys got other stuff to do. I got some other stuff to do. Not too important stuff, but either way. Hopefully you guys will enjoy. Alright, so a lot of things went down, man. A lot of things went down. So first things first, Nick and Troy did find out about the Proctors basically coming to the dam. Alright, like I said, this is kind of how I predicted it. I thought Strand probably made a deal with the Proctors, and, you know, sold the dam out in a way, you know, was going to open a door, help them out, and in exchange, he would, you know, have some safety for Madison and her family and stuff like that. And, well, that's exactly how it went down. So if you guys want to see my predictions for this episode, the link will be in the description below. But either way, yeah, it was kind of uncanny how I predicted this episode. I didn't predict a few things, I'll tell you that much, including a certain character's death, which I'm still very upset about it. And I don't think, I personally don't think it should have happened. I don't think it should have happened whatsoever because he was one of the key characters in the show. He made it very entertaining to watch. He was a very good actor. And, you know, I'm definitely going to miss him, to say the least. With that being said, I'm talking about Troy. Yes, unfortunately, Troy is dead. Madison did end up killing him when she found out about him leading the horde to the ranch. Understandably, she was upset, but there was no reason whatsoever to go off and, you know, kill him like that. He saved Nick's life on multiple occasions. He saved her life on multiple occasions. You know, he was a pretty key asset to the group. And, you know, he was turning over a new leaf, you know. Madison's killed a lot, okay? And he brought up a great point when he was trying to defend himself for doing that, because he got exiled from the ranch, and there was nobody left on the ranch. It was his ranch, you know, there was nobody left in his family on that ranch. Everybody took it over. You know what I mean? So understandably, I totally understand where Troy's coming from in the way of, you know, sending a horde and trying to get revenge and stuff like that, right? I totally get it. You know, I totally do, because his father's dead. You know, I mean, I guess his brother didn't die until they went looking for him while he was doing the horde thing. But either way, all right, besides the point, it was his land, you know, he was entitled to it, and he got kicked off of it. And that's... I hate to put it bluntly, but that's pretty fucked up, if you ask me. Like, it's his land, that's where he lived, you know, and he got kicked off his own land by strangers. That's not right, on any level, whatsoever. But either way, she basically hauled off and punched him upside the head at first, and then she took the hammer to the side of his skull, and he fell down and rolled down the cliff little thing that he was under. He was under the dam. They were actually planting explosives there because that was their plan. Nick and Troy actually got there to warn them. Another reason why Troy shouldn't have died, because, you know, he's basically sitting there trying to save their lives. Don't blame me if I get a little upset while I'm talking about Troy. All right, it's a triggering conversation to have, because I'm still pretty upset about it. But either way, he was underneath the dam setting explosives because they were gonna basically put this plan into action to whether, you know, when the Proctors did come, they're basically going to say, like, well, you're not having the dam, you know, we have this, you know, and we have it rigged with explosives, and we can blow it up on any, you know, at any time, right? Use that as a threat, use the dam as a threat, because that's what they want. They wanted the dam, they wanted the water. Solid plan to say the least. And it did end up semi-working, you know, it truly did. But with that being said, that's what happened. Yeah, Troy died. So it was a very quick death too. And like, if Troy was going to die, I wanted him to go out in another way than that, because that was very sudden, very quick, and it didn't really do the character justice, you know? I don't understand why every season, you know, they bring a new character into the show. Like, for example, Luciana, you know, last season, right? They bring that new character into the show, and then obviously Luciana's not dead, but she's gone now, right? She's no longer a part of the show as of right now. As for season 3, you can see this a lot. They brought a ton of new characters into the show, including Jeremiah Otto. We had Jake Otto, and then of course we had Troy Otto. Jake and Jeremiah already bit the dust, you know what I mean? So I feel like, excuse me, if they're really going through a big, like if they're trying to tell a story from Madison's group, like Nick's group and Alicia's group, of them going through stuff and, you know, finding other people, you know, their story along this new apocalypse, I feel like they should take bits and pieces from the timeline and make them survive. You know what I mean? Make them be ones that can come along with them. You know, I don't ask for everybody to survive. You know, Jeremiah and Jake was a tough one, but I got over Jake pretty quickly. You know what I mean? But Troy, on the other hand, he was a beloved character. It kind of sounded sick because, you know, he shouldn't be a beloved character, but either way he was. People cheered for him, you know, people loved Troy, and, you know, unfortunately that isn't anymore. But that's not just that, you know, that's not just Troy that's dying, it's that entire storyline, you know, with the ranch. Obviously we still have like Walker, but in terms of the core main group of the ranch, we don't have anybody left from there, you know. We can basically say that never even happened, you know what I mean? Because who knows, they could have just ended up at the dam in the first place, right? It really sucks, you know what I mean? I think that is not the greatest way to do it. I feel like from each piece of the story we get to see, I feel like a character or something should come with them, you know what I mean? And at least come forward to the next storyline. But it's not happening as of right now, you know? It's truly not. Luciana sort of dead, make it to the ranch, but then she split, you know what I mean? We don't see her anymore. She could be dead, who knows? And I just feel like that's probably a better way to do it, you know, is to have at least one character survive, or, you know, something to survive, or, you know, at least be able to reference something. But like I said, at this point, you could basically say that Madison and them just ended up at the dam without ever actually arriving at the ranch and having no altercation with anybody there. It sucks. It truly does. But either way, what else? What else do we got here? So, Nick, at the beginning of the episode, was slaughtering infected, trying to get the drugs up again with the brainstem thing. Very weird. Troy sees the proctors. He originally tracked down Nick and told him that Madison is in trouble. So, you know, he's the one that's taking the initiative here. Otherwise, Nick, I believe, would probably still be back there at that town, you know, doing his Nicholas thing with the drugs. And, you know, Madison could very well be dead right now. We have Daniel, we have Alicia and Deanna driving to a trading outpost. Bandits crash into their car. Yeah, that's right. They try to steal their goods. Alicia and Deanna fight them off. This is when Alicia basically gets introduced to the head proctor, you know, the main villain, if you will. And they ended up actually doing surgery on him, trying to remove a tumor that was preventing him from walking. Very strange, to say the least, but a good add-on nonetheless. What else do we have here? The C4 explosive to blow up the dam. That was a good plan. Nick forces Strand to confess that he made a deal with the Proctor John to facilitate the takeover of the dam in exchange for the role as a steward of the dam. Okay, so we have that. After that, we have, the sneak peek. Okay, so the sneak peek. We have Daniel and Nick, obviously in some sort of an interrogation. We've seen this in the sneak peek for this episode. And, Daniel senses basically that Nick is lying. He locks the door to the room. He ends up actually interrogating Nick and demands to know who led the horde to the ranch. And Nick basically covers for Troy, basically saying that it was Jake. Conveniently a dead man, but either way, Daniel really didn't believe it. And he was basically just saying Jake did it, you know, but he didn't necessarily believe just that Jake did it, so he actually ended up bringing up the fact that he killed Jake's father as well. So that kind of solidified his claim that Jake led the herd to the ranch, you know what I mean? And Daniel actually ended up believing him, I think. I think he ended up believing him. I could totally be wrong, but either way, let's be honest. He didn't really need the cover for Troy in the first place, because Troy is dead, remember? After this, obviously, but he did cover for Troy in this certain, you know, point with Daniel, and then Troy just ended up dying either way to Madison. So it just, you know what I mean? There's things that would have made much more of a story, like Daniel believing Nick there that Jake did it, and then maybe furthering the storyline down the line with him finding out that Troy really did it, and then they could have an altercation with Daniel and Troy, and, you know, they could actually, like, there was tons of story. There was tons of stories still to be brought with Troy, and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It just, it pisses me off, to be honest. So yeah, Eddie begins the surgery on the Proctor John's back. Alicia distracts Proctor John by holding his hand and talking about his family. Daniel notices the dam water pumping in the wrong direction. Strand assures him that Lola has it under control. Nick tells Madison, okay, this is where Troy basically died here. Nick tells Madison and Troy that Strand sold them out to the Proctors. Madison insists on warning Daniel and Lola, but Nick says that Daniel will kill Troy if he sees him. Madison basically pressures Nick for an explanation, like, why would he kill Troy? And Troy admits that he led the horde on the ranch. Madison punches Troy and fatally slams his head with a hammer. And then she takes the detonator. So, again, very quick, and, you know, fuck her. I don't like her at all, to be honest. I truly don't. I honestly never did, to be honest. You know, there's points, you know, there's certain points where she is, I would say kind of a badass, but we see more of that with, like, Alicia and stuff, right? So, I can't even say that. But either way, like I said, there is points where she was kind of cool, but I don't know. This whole killing thing has sort of got a bad taste in my mouth for it, if you will. Okay, so yeah, Daniel and Lola rush into the pump room, determine whether the dam water's flowing the wrong way. Strand holds them at gunpoint and reveals that his deal with the Proctors, rather. Daniel lunges at Strand and gets shot in the chin while trying to grab the gun. So Lola helps Daniel to his feet. So Strand, yeah, he is sort of turning, you know, a bit, obviously, you know, bad against them, against Daniel, if you will. Yeah, he has his reasons. You know, he wants to keep Madison and everybody safe. He basically revealed to us that the Proctors were basically coming no matter what. So he just tried to make the best of a bad situation and, you know, protect the ones he really cares about, which, if he puts it that way, you know, I can totally understand where he's coming from. The Proctors infiltrate the dam through the unguarded tunnels. Daniel's men ambush the Proctors. Gunfire breaks out, killing Ephraim. A Proctor's brother confronts Strand about the ambush. Strand assures them that Strand assures him that Lola and Daniel are dead. Jesus, that was tough. And then Strand brings Madison and Nick to a remote room and promises to try to keep them safe. He takes the detonator and locks the door. All right, so that was it. All right, that was the first episode. Obviously, we still have the second one that we have to go through briefly. You know what I mean? Briefly. Don't worry about it. So, we have Sleigh Ride. The synopsis of this was obviously Strand's loyalty is tested when the dam clashes with an adversary, this being the Proctors, as we know now. So yeah, here we have a few situations throughout the entire episode where we get to see very, very strange little fantasies sequences, if you will, with Madison cooking a Christmas dinner. Yeah, it's really weird. It's truly weird. I'm not gonna really put any effort into dissecting them because they were very random and very sporadic, if you will. So go check them out for yourselves. But either way, strange to say the least. So yeah, reality. Proctor John makes it to the dam with Alicia and his men. Strand greets them and sees that he has Alicia there. As they go off, Strand quietly basically speaks to Alicia, saying that your mother's safe and everything like that. And Nick, obviously, He vows to help them escape if she agrees to work with him. In the locked room, Nick criticizes Madison now for killing Troy. This is a very key point in their relationship. Nick no longer really trusts his mother, basically criticizing her for killing Troy like that, and basically accuses her of secretly wishing he had died during the darker days of his addiction. Madison swears that she never wanted her son dead. Someone knocks on the door as gunfire erupts outside. I believe during that situation as well, or it could have been briefly afterwards. It was somewhere. Okay, yeah. So it was definitely in that situation when he was accusing her of basically not wanting him to survive. She basically dropped another F-bomb. So we heard previously that AMC did approve like 2 F-bombs per season or something for Fear the Walking Dead. Something along those lines. And we already seen one from Nick earlier on in the season. I believe that would have been... It was definitely second half. I'm just trying to remember here. I'm thinking Brother's Keeper. I'm thinking it's Brother's Keeper. Yes, it would have been Brother's Keeper where he said the first F-bomb. And Madison actually went ahead and said the second one. Basically told him to fuck off or fuck you or, something along those lines. Either way, here you have Alicia constantly helping John, that Proctor guy. Basically, he was assuring her that he would keep her mother safe. Lola applies pressure to Daniel's gunshot wound and marvels that he's still alive. She leaves him in an underground room where she goes to find Ephraim, which, by the way, he's dead now, so there goes that plan. Ephraim's the doctor, by the way, so just if you're wondering. Strand checks in on Madison and Nick. Madison holds him at gunpoint and releases him when he reveals that Alicia is at the dam with John. He instructs Madison and Nick to change into worker uniforms so he could sneak them out. He admits that he shot Daniel but didn't kill him. What else do we have here? Okay, so we're getting to the end of it, which is good. We're definitely getting to the end of it here. To say the least, I'm not going to just go into this even more, in all honesty. But either way, let's see. Let's see here. All right, so Lola did find Ephraim dead, so she cries. She sees Strand in a security camera feed and strides out of the office with a gun. Basically trying to get vengeance there. Strand walks Madison and Nick across a bridge on top of the dam. John's men kills Lola's guards and throws them over the bridge. Strand tells John's men that their boss asked them to kill Madison and Nick personally. So they're basically trying to get Madison and Nick out of there, safely, right? That's the plan. So then we see Daniel wake up underground. Then we have basically this entire altercation with Nick, Madison, and actually Alicia too, because that's kind of what happened there. So yeah, they were all on top of the dam. Okay, they were all on top of the dam, every one of them, except for a few, Daniel being one, I believe, and they ended up getting into an altercation with Proctor John, and it doesn't really end well. He's basically saying, that everybody's going to die now, okay? Everybody's going to die, even Alicia. He was planning on killing everybody. And basically walking them to their death. And, well, that's just not going to work. So Strand basically pulled the last card he had, which, well, that was a voice crack. You guys hear that shit? Strand pulled the last card he had to try to get them out of there safely. And that was the detonator for the dam. Right before that, Nick said his goodbyes to Strand and ended up actually stealing the detonator from him. So yeah, we have that. Back at the dam, like I said, another Christmas fantasy, again, very weird. Back at the dam, Nick threatens to detonate the explosives unless John allows Madison, Alicia, and Strand to escape. Alicia urges Nick to come with them, but John points out that Nick cannot leave the detonator's range, because then, there goes your advantage, right? So Nick basically declares that this is his suicide note, and John agrees to his conditions. So Strand, Madison, and Alicia run off from the dam. Daniel, still alive, attacks 2 of John's men and procures a gun. Strand, Madison, and Alicia reach the Zodiac and launch it into the water. Meanwhile, John tries to convince Nick to join him, but Nick obviously refuses. The Zodiac motor dies, constantly they're trying to restart it, stuff like that. John realizes that Nick cannot detonate the explosives unless his family is out of range of the explosion. His men close in on Nick. Daniel finds Lola'S body on the bridge. She actually ended up trying to shoot a few of them as well. The few of the men there. She walked out with a gun, and she probably tried to get revenge on Strand there as well. But either way, she ended up getting shot in the head, actually, by Proctor John. I forgot to leave the part out. I apologize. Let's see here. He puts Ophelia's rosary in Lola'S hand. Strand, Madison, and Alicia fix the motor and power ahead. As the Proctor closes in on Nick, a shot rings out. Boom. Walker. Crazy dog. They previously left the dam because they didn't really want to die there, It was a good place. Thank you to Daniel, but I don't want to die for it type of thing. So they ended up leaving. But fortunately enough, they just went off the premises and they set up in sniper position. So Crazy Dog basically snipe at John's men from a distance. Ended up killing actually quite a few of them. John accuses Nick of bluffing and orders his men to kill Nick. Walker and Crazy Dog shoot more of his men. Daniel reaches the group as well and starts shooting to protect Nick. And Nick ends up flipping the switch and detonates the explosives. The dam breaks apart as John and his men flee, basically trying to avoid death at this point. Walker and Crazy Dog watch Madison, Alicia, and Strand struggle to escape the current created by the imploding dam. Unable to do anything to save their friends, Sis here, they decide to continue north as planned. So we have that. We don't really know where they're going. I mean, obviously we know they're going north, but are we ever going to see them again? What's happening with Walker and Crazy Dog? A big fan of both characters, in my personal opinion. I think Crazy Dog's pretty cool. And Walker, of course, is a pretty good leader himself. They were trying to go north to basically see if any of their friends were still alive, because apparently some of them fled there. What do we have here? Water bursts through the dam, so the dam's basically coming down. Daniel reaches Nick, and they teeter on the dam bridge as the water fills the valley below. Again, in the Christmas fantasy, Madison walks through the cemetery and stops at Otto's grave. Hand shoots out and pulls her into the grave. And then in the fantasy, Travis actually ends up pulling Madison out of the grave, and she slips back in. It's just, like I said, it's really weird. It was kind of like this fantasy world was sort of relating with the real world. She's in the real world, she's obviously underwater and starting to drown, and in this fantasy world that she's thinking of, or that we're just seeing, I don't know which it is, but she's basically falling into a grave, sort of thing, and people are trying to save her. Travis be one of them, and like I said, it kind of relates to what's going on in real life. Madison plunges into the water, stuff like that. Madison sinks underwater, but then opens her eyes. She kicks to the surface and sees bodies all around her. She swims to the riverbed and sees people flocking to the shore, filling containers with water that has been released from the dam. So, in hindsight, the exploding the dam thing, kind of a bad thing, the water and stuff. But at the same time, people are getting their water now. The people that wanted the water, that didn't have enough water and stuff like that. I mean, it's free to everybody now. No one person controls it. And I think that's a very good thing. But at the same time, with everybody on top of the dam, including Nick and Daniel, and then Alicia and Strand, they're MIA at the moment. We don't know where they are. They were in the boat, obviously, but Madison was also in the boat. So what happened to that? Did she just fall out of the boat? Or, what happened there? Where's Alicia and Strand? Did they fall out of the boat? Are they just drowning now? You know what I mean? We truly don't know. But anyway, that was the end of the episode. That was it. It was a solid season finale. I really did enjoy it, and I'm probably going on for a little too long here, 24 minutes. I probably could have shortened that down, but either way. I ended up going into a full recap. I apologize. I did leave some stuff out, though, so don't just sit here and take my word for it. They tell a much better story, I probably left a few important things out, so if you guys want to go watch the episode for yourself, I mean, if you are watching this video, you probably should have done that already. So thank you all so much for watching this episode review / recap, I guess is what it turned into, so I apologize for that. But all the way around, I thought it was a very solid episode. Very upset that Troy is dead. I think there is still a lot more to be said with his story. I'm not really sure what the situation is on the actor. Maybe he wanted out. I truly don't know. But I wish, that didn't happen. Or it did happen, and maybe he's still alive. It could happen, right? It definitely could happen. We seen Glenn die in season 6 of The Walking Dead, underneath all the walkers, and crawled under the dumpster, stuff like that. So we did see some fake out deaths before in The Walking Dead, but this I don't know, a hammer to the head that's pretty efficient, to say the least, to kill somebody. But who knows, I guess. Either way, time will tell, my friends, and that will be it for my episode review video for last night's episode of Fear the Walking Dead. This is the season finale, season 3, episode 15, entitled Things Bad Begun, and season 3, episode 16, entitled Sleigh Ride. Still not really sure what the Sleigh Ride is, the Christmas fantasies. Okay, I got you with the Sleigh Ride. Very, very weird. I don't know why they'd refer the episode title to that, but either way, solid episodes across the field. I don't know, across something. I truly don't know. I was looking for another word and I can't find it. So thank you all so much for watching, and hopefully you guys did enjoy. I'll see you guys on the next one. Oh, Walking Dead, through The Walking Dead season 8 predictions. All right, season 8 episode 1 predictions this coming Thursday. Make sure you guys go ahead and tune in. All right, because I'll be predicting some stuff. Probably won't be right about it a whole lot, but we have a trailer to go off of. So we can take things from that. We have a sneak peek as well to go off of, so we can take things from that. And I think it'll be cool. So thank you all so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. It's been Frost, guys. Take care.